Hi everyone and welcome. I'm Miranda from The Well-Educated Artist, and today we're going to be doing a special two-part painting. The first part is going to be a pour painting using a hexagonal loom. So what kind of shape are we going to get? And the second part is some 3D embellishing with acrylic skins. So a 2 for the price of 1. Let's get started. I am working on a 10-inch round today, and my paints are all traditional pour paints using 3 parts pour medium to 1 part water, and my pouring medium today is going to be Floetrol and water. To make the background, I am using an hexagonal loom piece. Now, this is from a set, and it comes with a round, a square, and hex looms, and I'm going to put a link down below in the description in case you'd like to get one. And I have been experimenting with these, and it's always really fun to see what comes out. So we're using the hex piece. I have used in other videos the round pieces in the loom. They just make some really fun designs when you're pour painting. We're going to start by laying down our background. It is on a Lazy Susan or spinner, so that we can spin this out if we need to. And I'm going to lay down some Liquitex titanium white. Now, I put my mix into this bottle. It is not just titanium white, it is also with my pouring medium of Floetrol and water. So my colors today are Liquitex Fluid Light Blue Violet, Arteza Russian Blue, Master's Touch Violet, which is essentially a purple, Folk Art Neon Purple, Liquitex Fluorescent Pink, Master's Touch Viridian, and Liquitex Primary Yellow. So I'm going to go ahead and put the loom in the middle, and I'm going to be adding my colors. And as I do that, I'm going to be turning my Lazy Susan, trying to keep the colors in the middle. I'm using a hexagonal loom, so that's going to be a little different on how it disperses. So let's watch what happens. Okay, I'm going to add more paint to the outside edge so we can spin this out. Okay, I'm removing the loom, and you can see that I've gotten an oblong shape. So it's longer on the sides. That's not quite what I was expecting with this, but it's going to work. So now I am just going to torch, make sure I don't have any bubbles in there, and now we're going to do a little bit of embellishment by hand. I am taking a silicone pointing tool, and I am pulling my paint into the middle, and I'm wiping it off after each pull. Now that we have our design, I think I'm going to go ahead and spin this out. And I'm going to spin it a lot, so don't get dizzy on this one. If you notice, I'm collecting all the paint that runs over the side because I'm going to recycle and I'm going to reuse that paint. I do not like to waste paint. So you can see what we have here. It's an interesting design. I like the design around the edges. So I am going to look at this very carefully and decide what I'm seeing and how I'm going to want to do the next part. And after it dries, after 24 hours, we'll be ready for the next step. So here is the dry result. Now what I'm seeing here is kind of a lily pad with a water lily. It's a little bit too watery for me, or a lotus, okay? So either a lotus flower or water lily. So that's what we're gonna go for when we do our embellishment with the skins. Now I have picked out some complimentary acrylic skins left over from other projects, and I've made jewelry with this one, and the other one was a felled pour painting. I have several videos on how to make skins and lots of videos on how to use skins, so check those out. And I will put a link for that playlist below. Now I'm starting out by drawing out some petals, and I'm using a gold marker for this, which is fine because I'm going to be outlining in gold later. I am using a reference photo, so I kind of get the general idea of the way the petals are supposed to look. And then I'm going to cut out each one of those. All of my pieces cut out. I've finally done several mock-ups and decided I like this color scheme. I flipped them one way, I flipped them another, and I came up with what I have here because it offered me more contrast against my background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these down, and I'm going to do that with Diamond Glaze water-based dimensional adhesive. I use this all the time, and I'm just going to glue all of my pieces right down onto my pour painting. I just poured a little glue onto a piece of freezer paper, and that'll allow me to dip that down, but I have to do it backwards. So let me take the top pieces off, and I will go from there. I've glued down all of my petals on my water lily / lotus, then I'm going to take this pen. This is a Liquitex iridescent antique gold marker, and I love this marker because it is actually gold, not yellow. It never reads yellow like a lot of gold acrylic markers do. And I'm going to go around every single one of my petals so that it stands out from my background and from my lily pad. Once I'm done outlining my lotus in gold, I'm going to add some of this, which is Folk Art's Dragonfly Glaze. It's going to add a little bit of shimmer. I'm just going to use a fine brush, a small brush, to go right around the pink parts and just make that stand out. It's going to add a beautiful shimmer. You're going to be able to see that at the end. It goes on looking white, but there is a lovely shimmer that comes from it, and I love to use it in detail work. Now you can kind of see the shimmer here as it's starting to dry, just the outline there. And what I'm going to do now is put some Liquitex High Gloss Varnish over the top, but that will not be the only thing I put over the top. I'm actually going to give it a sort of resin-like finish over the flower part. So it's kind of have a extra 3D dimension, not just from the skins, but also from the finish that I'm going to put over the top of it. I actually end up removing this varnish and going back and putting in Joe Sonia water-based varnish later. What I do here is I use Diamond Glaze water-based dimensional adhesive, and I love this as a coating, and it really gives a 3D effect to the Lotus. And I do the Lotus itself, and I pop the air bubbles with a skewer and just using a torch like you would for resin, and you get a resin-like finish, which is just awesome. And I go around both the Lotus and the outside pink part so that it really stands out, and it's really going to cause my dragonfly glaze to really glitter. And in the end, I do go back and I put on more varnish. I use Joe Sonia water-based varnish that I use when I'm bloom painting, and I really like that consistency a little bit better. So I'm just finishing up the diamond glaze, and it doesn't take long for it to dry. And here it is, and it's not dry. This is the wet result from the diamond glaze, and you can see what a mirror-like finish you're going to have. And here it is. Here it is, very 3D. Not only the skins, and look at the glitter. You can really see the glitter on the edges. And now it is complete, and I really love the way it turned out. It was a lot of steps, but it's amazing what you can do with skins to embellish your projects. Thanks for watching. Bye now.